Okay, stream is starting, but hanging out right now. Mm. Okay, nice. We are live right now. Very good. Let's see this here.
What's up, man?
What's going on? How are you? Let's see. Yeah,
Yeah,
I think the stream is catching. Yeah, stream should be catching. All right. Uh, yeah. I thought you weren't free to talk about cards.
are you're streaming right now?
We are
Where you
streaming.
streaming to?
I'm streaming on YouTube right now.
Okay.
Yeah, we're just chatting. Mostly just trying to get something recorded right now. Yeah, originally, okay, I guess I'll do a stream intro here. Uh, Originally, yeah, hello stream, Kevin here. Got Daddy here chatting, and people watching this in the future, people watching this right now, doesn't matter. Welcome to the stream. uh, Originally, I was supposed to stream today, opening cards from the newest set. But the problem is UPS sucks, and they don't understand what 2 day shipping is because you know got delays going on. So I can't even stream opening cards, but that's fine. What I can talk about is what's it called? Talk about the cards. Talk about gameplay for cards. Talk about that's how we feel about the set as a whole. And yeah, I'm kind of in an open VC for the Team Illusion. So if people like Daddy, Big Daddy, want to talk about cards, be my guest. But I'm just chatting about half an hour, and I'll be on my phone looking at comments accordingly. So that'll be a thing. Okay, yeah, I got the live chat going on. Very good. And yeah, this is gonna be recorded, so people can look at this later on in the future. Um, Daddy, you have any thoughts on the cards? That's been
Man,
spoiled so
I
far.
have I have 1,000 thoughts. Uh,
Yeah, what's your biggest thought, like, in general?
how good uh Meteoric Eclipse is. And
Meteor Eclipse. Okay, yeah, I got that card pulled up in the stream. Meteoric Eclipse. Yeah, card is pretty good, pretty insane. Essentially, it's making the game faster by chunking more than 10% of your health, which is good for everyone. But the person who plays it can chunk an additional 3 potentially damage because they can send a creature to the abyss to, throw it in and take out some stuff, In particular, with the +3/+3, you can throw it into a Mire Stalker with, any 1/1 can be thrown in a Mire Stalker and just make a trade into it. I mean, obviously, that creature is going to be destroyed, but hey, you can just make 1/1's trade pretty easily into basically anything. Uh, and yeah, it's just a really strong card. The direction of the set is going to be much faster than we've ever seen for Koa so far. The game in general tends to end around, like, the fastest you can end a game is probably like 5 turns on average. I've seen some pretty fast ends, but usually it's like, 6 to 8 turns fastest, but it goes longer than that usually. But the direction these cards are going in with, like, AoE damage and swarm potential with creatures and just damage in general, is just going much faster. So that's really interesting to see. We also haven't seen the other domains too much. There's 5 other domains in a set that are box toppers. So really interesting. I guess for me, obviously, Windworm is a huge highlight of the set. The card is so huge for air. Windworm is amazing for its cost. It's effectively a 3 cost card because you can think of 2 neutral as 1 essence of its type. So it's effectively a 3 cost. With Foundry, you can get out on turn 2, which is amazing. Getting a 4/4 out with Aerial on turn 2 is great. Its 4 attack allows it to just not die to most removal in the game. So also really good. And oh, got my mother over here yelling out from the far. I mean, 1 second. Turn the gain all the way down.
what's up, Phantom?
Hey, how's it going? Glad to finally join one of the talks. Been out for a while.
Yeah, as I say, you've been AWOL for a bit.
Yeah.
I know you had stuff you had to go do.
No,
Glad
I
you're
was
back.
literally out of the country, man.
Yeah, cool. You had big boy stuff you had to go do. Oh, cool. But I'm glad you're back.
Oh, just in time for Primordial, man. That was like perfect timing.
Oh, we got a new person. Who is this? Who is it? Who is it?
Phantom.
It is not my Phantoms.
Oh my god, Meta Phantoms finally shows up for something. Very good. Very good.
Yeah.
I like seeing that. Meta Phantoms. So I guess we're just talking about cards right now. You have any favorite cards from the ones spoiled? I have the Google Photos thing. I sent you, I think.
Oh yeah, from the Google Photos. Yeah, I was actually I've been a big fan of the worms and also the Void Fire Dragon that we're gonna be probably talking about in a bit. But
That the
I am
eight,
obsessed with
yeah,
that domain that we were just talking a few moments ago about.
the domain,
Mirrored
yeah.
Eclipse.
The card's really good.
That domain is key.
Yeah, it's peak. It's gonna definitely peak. I think in general, people are just sleeping on domains. So that's something to definitely consider. But that domain in particular is just very strong. So yeah, got the rise. We also have a lot more AoE removal. We got Tsunami and Meteorite. So good stuff. And we got a ton of efficiency in the game. I want to give a shout out towards the card draw card. Let me find it real fast for the stream. Here it is. It is the Moon card, but you can't actually read it too much in this photo. It's called Stargaze. Yeah, Stargaze. Stargaze is really good. So what Stargaze does is you basically pay 2 air, you roll a die, and the average die roll hits about 3.5, so you could say about 3 is the minimum. So on average, you're paying 2 air to at least look at the top 3 cards of your deck, put one into your hand, and put the other 2 in the bottom. At worst case scenario, you're paying 2 air to draw a card. Not amazing. The best case scenario, you're looking at the top 6 cards of your deck and just picking whatever you want, putting in your hand. So it's an insane draw card. Also works with the die roll effects in the game. So a lot of synergy there. I mean, what do you guys think? Good air card? Should I just auto include in every air deck?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think with the roll, first of all, incorporates a lot with air, especially if you're using the ancient. I mean, not the ancient, the artifact. That's what I meant.
Yeah,
Easily incorporated in.
that card's real good. Another air card I've actually becoming a fan of is shoot. I need to find it. There's basically an air card. It's actually in the starter decks, but it's an air card that allows you to give your things first strike if you move, if an opposing creature has moved, and that's so good since with Supercell existing, you could just use Supercell's ability to like move, say, a Storming Falcon by exhausting it, and you can just move any of their creatures, and then preemptive strike with a worm, a 4/4, or just trade easy into creatures. Um, Now it's not like the most efficient removal that requires that's like a whole combo of Supercell, a Storming Falcon, a creature, and the spell. It's a 4 card combo to take out 1 card, but it is still a good combo, and it may not just be 1 card. It could be more than 1 card since the air card I'm thinking of right now, I believe it also gives Pierce. So you could do some good Pierce stuff. What do we think about the ramp in the set? The eggs. There's an eggs for every type, I believe, or for most types.
I think incorporating the eggs honestly does help a little bit in support with all the. How many dragons we have now in the set? You could say I lost count, but
There's a lot. I think at least 5, not including the ones we've seen in the past.
yeah. So it is a good support in a way. I guess you could say to incorporate it. I haven't until I tested out. I really couldn't say anything, but it would be interesting to see how it plays.
I see. Not for sure.
There's an
But
air card that intrigued me that reminds me of Phantom of the Void. It's an air card actually. The Dyn I don't know if I'm pronouncing it correctly. Dynamophodium. I can't even say it. I don't even know if I just pronounced that correctly.
that card, yeah, that card is actually very fascinating. I've been thinking about that card. So you're talking about the card that is a one. It's a I think 1 air, 2 neutral. Is that the cost of it? It's oh, there's the card I was thinking of actually. I know what you mean though. It's the card that's like if it takes 4 or more damage, you can end combat basically.
Yeah,
Yeah, that card. So that guy has potential. It's really bad early game. It's more of like a late game card, you know.
yeah,
So, but there is still a decent amount of potential it has. Just the ability, like the real power of that card is you being able to use it as a defender and combat and just put it back into your hand. That's the actual power of it, in my opinion.
yeah. I totally agree.
Yeah. Plus anything that lets you, like, if you're getting value from replaying certain cards. Okay, here's the card for the stream. It's pretty good. Could be pretty good. Okay, the photo I have is complete crap, but yeah, it is. It's a 2/1, quick reflexes, and it's a dinosaur, which dinosaurs this set are really good just because of that the box topper we've seen.
Yeah,
That, yeah, this gives the anthem effect, which is so huge. So really good. A lot of haste this set. There's a lot of haste, low cost haste, high cost haste, just haste in general, which is nice. Ace is just a really good trait. Maybe it's kind of a thing this set to have a lot of haste. Could be. Um, well, you meta phantoms. You like Void, so I'll talk about Void a bit. Void has a huge glow up this set. We're seeing a lot of support for. Actually, we've seen support for three different Void archetypes in particular. We've seen two new archetypes. We've seen the new dinosaur archetype they've been pushing. They have a lot of dinosaur type support, which is cool because the Baryonyx is also a dinosaur, so that card works together with the dinosaur support we've seen. But beyond that, we've also seen the Void Bugs archetype just also introduced to set. We've seen that with the Void Ancient. I'm a little skeptical since it's very obvious that the dinosaur archetype is being it's attempting to support the Endless Abyss Ancient from the first set, which that Ancient has synergy with cards going to the Abyss. And there's a lot of dinosaur cards that mention if this you can send this card to the Abyss. So it seems like Trey was trying to put some synergy towards the original Void Ancient, which is cool. It's just, in my opinion, that new Void Ancient is very strong. It's a very powerful Ancient for what it's doing. And I would still be keen to probably run that Hive Ancient just because of how good it is. If you're going to run a mono Void deck and dinosaurs, included. But to be honest with you, you could still run dinosaurs with Foundry just fine. It might actually be best with Foundry since a lot of these dinosaurs have neutral in their cost. So definitely good to keep in mind. But there's some pretty insane dinosaurs in Void. We got the Reanimated Spinosaurus is just ridiculously good. It's just a 2-1, it's a 4-1, 4 attack, 1 health. But when it dies, you make a 2-1. So for 3 costs, you get 6 attack and 2 health, which effectively is the same stats you would have gotten for 4 cost. Insane. Beyond that card, we have other cards. We have like that. We have a 3/4 with haste. Let me find that. Or a 4/3 with haste, I think. Oh, 1 second. Okay, sorry. I'm all good. I'm all good again. So, yeah, we
Yep.
have the pulled up the. Okay, yeah. So yeah, we have the Void Velociraptor. Here it is, 4/3 with haste, 2 per deck, but still very powerful. Anything that deals. So we have to understand in terms of the metagame, 4 damage is very very powerful. 4 damage will allow you to kill most threats in the game that exist. Merfolk Ambassador with a +1/+1 counter already kills obviously Mire Stalker is the biggest threat, but 4 damage is also enough to trade into like things like Inferno Dragon. So most of the metagame threats that exist are around 4. So if you have 4 damage, that already makes you potentially viable if your cost is low enough. So that's very important to think about. And this Void now with this set has just you could just build a pure Void deck with haste. It's all this haste stuff like Foundry, Hunter Wraith, Velociraptors, the cats. That's 3 Void things with haste right there. Obviously, Reanimate exists. And Reanimate's even better this set because of the new card save. I think it's called like Save the Pack, something like that. It's like the one that makes you like draw 2, discard 1, with the Foundry effect, neutral cost.
Yeah.
So yeah, That card is good. The reason that card is not like Foundry 100% is it lets you put things. It says discard and not place into the abyss. And the way discard is worded is it goes into your like discard pile. Not the abyss. Or it goes into a sanctum basically. So that allows you to use it for a reanimate target, which is really good. You know, we've seen some also other really interesting void cards. We've seen Fear the Dark, which is very fascinating. It's a stealth synergistic void card. Basically, it's a removal if you have enough stealth creatures. Now you may be thinking, well, Kevin, how much stealth is in void actually? Quite a decent amount, if we, or at least a few, right? If you think about the stuff that exists, we have the Void Assassin, the one cost with 1/1 with stealth that exists.
Mm-hmm.
Um, why can't I think of others off my head? Mysterious Visitor. It's also a stealth guy. That's a thing. Um,
Yeah.
I feel like I'm missing some.
Let me see. Yeah, I'm trying to remember right now off the top of my head. I can't remember at the moment.
Yeah. Oh, we have the new one too. We have the bug. It's like a 2/1 bug with 3/3, but it has stealth if there's a domain. Conditional on being domain, but it could still get stealth. But we want to see unconditional stuff with stealth. With that
Oh yeah, we
card.
also have Cave Drake, that 2/2, the Void Dragon.
The 2/2 Void Dragon, right? So.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
The vampire discount has stealth.
Oh yeah.
Right. So. Yeah, there's like a decent amount of void stuff. Oh, the Viscount, yeah, that's right. That card exists. So there's like a decent amount of void stuff out there. So that card could be good. But a card that Daddy and I talked about last night a bit was Void Rupture. And the potential Void Rupture has as a board wipe, or a pseudo board wipe, and as a game ender. So Void Rupture, what it basically says, it's a you pay 3 void and then any amount of essence for the X cost. And then its X cost ability allows you to just make a bunch of 1/1s with Death Strike. So you could use those to end the game if you need a final like 6 damage, if you have enough essence for that. Or you're probably going to use it more so for the removal, in terms of like Death Strike removal, the creatures. So it's also pretty strong.
We talked
Um,
about it being a double-edged sword too, but
yeah, it's a
it,
double-edged sword. Yeah.
it could definitely hurt you, but it could also help save you a game.
Definitely could help save you a game. This depends on the deck you're using. With it, so Void, yeah, Void, in my opinion, out of all the cards I've seen from this set, I think it has the most diversity of archetypes we've seen. That's probably going to be viable. I think Void is going to be, if you like playing one type, I think you're going to have the most fun just building mono Void decks with these variable types. And we've even seen a little bit of Void Beast support. Void Beast was one of the archetypes trying to be pushed in the first set.
Yeah.
It wasn't that successful in my opinion. We had things like Void Hunter that relies on the Void Beasts, but the problem was there wasn't too many Void Beasts. We have a couple more Void Beasts in this set. I can't think of them top of my head, but they do exist, and we might see some extra, Void Beast stuff going on there. But definitely, the key thing we saw reanimate support with the cards that exist. So, an Exterior Abomination, one shot, getting more viable every single set, basically. So we like seeing that. Let's talk about fire a bit. Is this fire going to glow up at all in this set? Do you guys think?
Yeah, fire is definitely it's always going to be an issue, but yeah, I believe it got a little boost. I think it's be a lot funner to play. Just my opinion. I like some of the stuff that came out in it. It's that one that I seen going through all this now.
Yeah,
I'm in your Google Photos
the Google
scrolling.
photos. Yeah, we spent like I spent hours last night, just late night, trying to get these photos of seeing most of the cards. Yeah, I mean, fire. So some of the fire stuff, I'm not a big fan of. Particularly like they're pretty weak. Like the 1/1 vanilla, I'm not a big fan of entirely. But like some stuff like that little X cost fire guy, big fan of
Yeah,
that.
the
Uh,
smoldering elemental.
that card's really good. Just because it's X cost and has some synergy with Angel Volcano. It does cost some life to pay, but dude, you get an X cost creature out. That card's already good because of that. But you also got other cards. You got a card like Meteorite. You know, Fire has essentially a board wipe potentially, which is going to be great against Fire Stalker and stuff like that. Uh, do do remember though that Null Spell is a card that's forever going to be in a game at this point. It's 2 per deck, and you can just counter a board wipe accordingly. But hey, the fact that Fire just has a board wipe is good. You know, this was a card I didn't really read. I need to read this card from Fire. It's the snail card. Where is the snail card?
Oh, I saw that one. I gotta go back to it.
I know. I have to find that snail guy again. Where is the snail guy? That was the card I just forgot to read, honestly, when looking back at the cards. I'll find it at some point. Yeah, we can read it then. This one was also hard. This one looked really good. It's kind of hard to read. Inferno Matriarch. I couldn't get the cost of it because I think Druby's just can't keep his thumbs off the essence cost on the card. Though it's hard to read. But yeah, I mean it's a 4/7 with transmute, 3 fire at least, and it seems like it has a good essence like effect. This 4/7 is a very unique stats for a card, so I like seeing a 4/7 in the game. Tanky, does a lot of damage. Definitely not bad. Uh, what do we think about the bugs? The bugs are interesting, I think. Like, I mean, there's bugs for each type from what I've seen so far. Bugs have the most important void, obviously, with the void ancient and the tribal deck. But I think it's cool that you could build a rainbow bug deck. I mean, it's probably crap, but you could build a rainbow bug deck.
Yeah,
That's always
so
fun.
cool you can do it. Yeah,
Yeah, it's a janky deck for sure. But yeah, I mean, does it even support with like Trilobite? I don't think Trilobite's a bad card. If I'm going to be really honest, I don't think it's bad. Especially as long as you're running Foundry, Trilobite's not bad. The reason Trilobite's decent is that you just keep it in the back row, and you just have it just give a permanent +1 steroid. It's kind of like an equipment, right? It's just giving immediate damage to your bugs right away, and you just throw in your, void ancient bug tokens into it, So I think it's
you
cool.
can't use your void ancient bug tokens if you're running a foundry though. So with Trilobite, I believe
Oh yeah, that's right.
it'd be better with the void ancient.
Yeah, it's better. I guess it's just really costly. If you're running Foundry, it's fine, right? If you're not running Foundry, that thing is super high cost, because you're paying effectively 3 regular essence for it. Like it's very expensive. With Foundry, it makes the most sense to run it. But there could be I mean, honestly, there really could be a bug deck you could run with Foundry, and it'd be fine. Like you could probably run a dual essence. Like the best bugs I've seen are probably the air bug is actually really strong. It makes a lot of bugs, but I also like the void bug's okay. Like the air bug is the best bug I've seen, but the the void bug is not bad because it has aerial. It's just pretty pricey, honestly, for what it's doing. So that's a whole
Just
thing.
just just me personally, I think that I can make it work uh pretty well with the void ancient just because of just some games that have already been played and seeing how much bugs are made by that new ancient. Um, but like it's just personal. I uh I plan on making one, but maybe not with Foundry. That's just me personally. I mean, we all have to play and get games in and just see how it's all going to work.
Right. Right. So it's pretty interesting either way.
Yeah,
This bug.
there's a lot of things can be done with it.
Yeah, what I like the most with the bugs, particularly the Void Ancient bug deck, is that the bugs has a lot of support for Sacrificial Noxerion King. That card has got a huge glow up in this set because
Yep.
with the Void Ancient, it's creating undead 1/1s. So what that means is one of the problems with Sacrificial Noxerion King and why we didn't see Sacrificial Noxerion King be. I mean, it was always a good card. The problem wasn't the card itself. It was just there wasn't enough cards to really synergize with it. And the cards that did
Hey
synergize.
guys.
What's up? Oh, hey, what's up? How are you, man?
Hey. Hey, Meta, are you here?
Yeah, I'm here.
Hey, can you hop to a different Discord? I need to ask you a couple questions real quick.
All right.
Yeah, sure. Well, let me leave for a moment. I'll be right
Sounds
back,
good.
guys.
Just steal him from the stream. Why not?
Man,
Sorry.
let's go.
There we go.
He got us.
He got us. He got us. Yeah. Basically, the problem with Sacrificial Noxerion King was it didn't work that good with these higher cost undead stuff because the really good undead stuff was like 3 cost, 4 cost, and Sacrificial Noxerion King wants to work with like low cost stuff or free stuff like with those bugs. So you could just pop Noxerion King. It's really easy to just pop Noxerion King out and in the same turn give that steroid to the undead bugs on your field, the tokens, and then if you sacrifice a creature, you're gonna probably make another bug. So it's just so much synergy with the king. So yeah, if you're running a void bug deck, definitely run the Sacrificial Noxerion King, as long as it's a mono deck. It's gonna be very strong, very strong.
And then, I mean, and then not even that. Like it'd be a potential, swinging for six potentially with like, the right with
With the
the
bugs, yeah,
yeah, with the bugs and the domain and yeah,
it's a
there's
lot.
it's yeah, dude. Like it could take somebody by surprise.
It's
Like,
a
oh,
lot
he's
of
running
damage.
bugs. Yeah. Like, oh,
Right.
he's potentially not that big of a threat. And yeah, it is. It's definitely a play.
Right. We discussed this, you and I, with how aggro the game is, and I think it's similar to the way Zaza is playing in the last tournament, right? But the idea is instead of going for board, just go to face. I think we're going to see a lot more emphasis on going to face rather than board control this set, because threatening life points is always going to be impactful. Not saying controlling the board is impactful, but I'm just saying like when you get someone low enough, it gives you a lot more options for in terms of your pressure you have to work with. Well, Daddy, you are the Void Fire guy. So, what's your opinion of Dragarion now that you've seen it?
Let me pull it. I'm still looking at the trilobite.
Oh, are you good? Yeah. So, it's a for those watching, it's a 4/4 for Void for Fire. You can pay it with uh you can pay it with all Void or all Fire or 4/4. And
Oh,
then
the primordial.
yeah, the Primordial. Yeah.
Yeah, I like him. I would more than likely just run him in a straight void deck just to pay all of his essence with a straight void.
Mm-hmm.
Because it'll be to me at the moment, getting 4 void and 4 fire, being able to tap all those at one time to get to play him. It's be a bit much. Um, and the only reason I say it, I'd put him in my straight void deck is I think I would get more value out of his text with playing straight void with all the haste that void has.
Right.
Front row creatures gain death strike during your combat phase. So just drop some little haste guys, cats.
Yeah, just have We just need the one. I think you just need one counter. I mean, the card text is cut off here, but in the photo I have, but you just need one counter. I think maybe a couple more. Either way, in getting things to be destroyed in Void is pretty easy because you're gonna make a lot of tokens if you're running a Void deck with the Ancient, or even if you're not running a Void deck. Like we have a lot of cards that just make tokens with X costs. Now. So it's not really, or just make tokens in general. So it's not a huge deal to do that. And probably the archetype I'm most disappointed in at the moment, but we haven't seen all the cards 100% yet. So I'm not gonna be like completely firm in my stance here. Is oh sorry, I got a call real fast. Give me a second. Okay, so yeah, sorry about that. So yeah, I was talking about the elves, right? So the elves just did not seem that good, at least to me. We haven't
Well,
seen all the cards yet, but
you didn't tell us what you were building up to tell us.
basically, yeah,
Something.
it was the elves, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, the elves. The elves we've seen are pretty weak so far. I mean, I'm not saying the elf archetype is completely bad right now. It's just that the elves kinda rely a lot on the Elvis tracker being good and other just general Earth stuff being good. It really seems like it's just Elvis tracker, and I get it. Elvis tracker is good. I'm not talking bad about Elvis tracker at all because that card is good, but the actual other elves are just pretty weak. If we really look at what they're doing, even if you include the value with the Earth Ancient, it just seems so bad. I'm not trying to be mean, but I'm just being honest based off the cost.
Yeah, I feel we got a lot better things with other types. I feel what you're saying. But I don't see elves, not being a thing in future sets. So it could just be a build up to something better, potentially.
Maybe it could be, yeah. We also saw
It
just.
just.
Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, it just looks like elves are gonna be like a main thing in Earth.
Yeah,
And just getting them in 2 sets back to back, though.
yeah. It's not
Potentially
like.
down the road.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
What were you gonna say?
Yeah. No, I agree with you. Like, they're definitely building up towards it. I don't know if it has the right stuff this set. I know people like Mud. Big fan of elves. I mean, I've liked Elvis Tracker for a while. I think it's a good card. It's just the other elves need to also be good, and just relying on that one card is not the best. And the way you want to play elves ideally is you basically just want to play your regular elves up front in the front row, and then put Elvis Tracker like in the back row behind an elf protection because he has reach. And you want to ideally play like 3 to 4 elves. So Elvis Tracker gets like an extra, like, I don't know, what is it like? You want him to gain an extra, at least like 4 value, like 4 stats. Ideally to be good. And yeah, I mean reach is good. You just keep him alive in the back, and he's just hanging out with like reach and stuff. And obviously you want to combo with cards like Sigil of Brotherhood, like stuff like that. You know, Siege to Foundry. It's just that card, you know, that individual elf is, you know, the elves, the whole elf archetype is just kind of weak. Like the dinosaurs seem way better, the bugs seem way better. Maybe even a Merfolk's better, honestly, than the elf stack. You know, we've seen. Obviously, the air stuff is good. Air dinosaurs are good. From what we've seen, fire, I'm also a little disappointed by the Pyromaniac archetype. I mean, again, I could be wrong. Just the cards we've seen aren't inherently that good, like off rip, just in terms of their value. I really gotta find that snail card and what that snail card does. I gotta read that snail card. Snail card. Okay. Oh, I found it. Okay, finally find a snail card. Okay, what does this card do? It's a taunt thing. Anytime an opposing player invokes a spell with over two, with cost with cost 2 or less, you may have the snail gain taunt or lose taunt to counter that to something that spell.
Yeah, to counter that spell and gain +1/+0.
Okay, the Meta Phantom is back and he's translating. I love it.
Yeah, no problem.
And cannot gain taunt. So what does it mean by cannot gain? Is it trying to say with this card like you lose taunt, but you cannot gain taunt again? Is that what that last sentence is trying to say? I think.
Yeah, it cannot gain taunt afterwards.
Okay, that's how what I want to say. Also, I wish it would say cannot gain taunt again, just to keep it very explicit. Okay, so this card is not bad. Like actually, this card really is not that bad. For what it's doing. I mean, it's basically so it's really good against decks that are spell based. So we're gonna see these really annoying, probably like air decks that come out with this all spell damage. Even just air fire, all this spell damage. This card is basically countering that. But it's only countering it at one time. It's kind of the unfortunate thing. It's just a one-time counter to the thing. The problem with it though is it doesn't have like a lot of health, so it's gonna die pretty quickly.
Yeah,
it looks pretty cute though. I mean, it's not that good of a card. I don't want to say it's a bad card. It's like a 2 out of 3 for me. Like,
but I mean, if you can use the ability on it, just that one time, I mean, it's doing what it needs.
That's true.
Its purpose was fulfilled. So
that's true. Oh, you know what though? This card really isn't that bad actually. I just figured out what makes this card really good. So what makes this card really good, in my opinion, is it literally shuts down Null Spell. So if you are gonna play a really good fire spell like Dragonfire, you just put this guy down before you play it, and then they can't counter it because you're gonna counter the Null Spell essentially. It's essentially a null spell counter, in a body. Now, it's a pretty pricey null spell counter, okay? Or I'm sorry, I keep saying null spell. I mean, Dispel Magic. I keep mixing these MetaZoo cards with, I always make that. So Dispel Magic, in Chronicles of Arcane, this card essentially just fricks on any kind of Dispel Magic thing going on. So that's if you're really afraid of a counter spell. Like, I would drop this guy. I would maybe just put one of these guys in my deck as like a tech card. So if I, if I pull it and I'm against a deck with Dispel Magic, I'm just gonna drop it when I need to. But if not, I'm just gonna, I'm not gonna max copy of 2 in this deck. That's way too much for this card's doing. Oh, it's also a bug, so that's kind of cute. Works with the bug stuff going on. And it has taunt at least, so it is pulling priority away from your face and towards the snail. So I don't know. I think it's not bad. I think I got 2 out of 3. It's a funny card. Cool little guy. Okay, I do have to actually head off. I want to do a quick stream. I got like 5 more minutes. So, I mean, Meta Phantoms, Daddy, you have any like major thoughts you want to say to the stream, towards your gameplay or like whatever you want to say right now?
I actually have one card that I've been curious about. It's Pick the Bones, the 2 void, 1 neutral. It's a
Yeah,
spell.
like what it does or like how good it is or
And how good. I'm like thinking 3 different things with this thing. It says you
yeah,
may only invoke a spell the creature is destroyed, but does it say it has to be your creature?
yeah,
Also, I'm just thinking if you brought Abomination as reanimated, then you use this spell afterwards, would that work?
yeah. I don't see why not. Um, so if I'm gonna keep it real with you, I don't think this card is that good. The main thing is like most of the time, recovery effects in most games are just not good. Like if it just recovers, it's not good because it's not helping you win the game. It's helping you not lose the game, and you could also win by not losing, like via a lockdown deck. But this is not locking the people down. This is just giving you a little bit more time to stall, and that's not
Yeah.
amazing in most games. You're right. You could do some ridiculous like heal 12 with Abomination, in
Yeah.
theory. It's not targeting. It's just yeah, you have to activate it when Abomination dies, and then you heal for its ridiculous 12 HP. So, and maybe that is good. Maybe that's gonna be like game changing. I don't. It's hard to say. It's just, I mean, what's the cost of this thing? It's 2/1. It's pretty pricey, for a heal effect. Very conditional on what it's doing though. Um, here's the thing, right? There's not a lot of cards in Void that just work off synergy. If there was a card in Void that said deal 1 damage to target player every time you heal equal to the cost you healed for. If there was a card like that, this card would be super good. Or like cards that were like every time you heal X health, draw a card like that. Like that would make this card really good. But until we see cards that synergize with direct number of healing you healed for, like the number of you healed for, rather than just healing, like say
Yeah.
Merfolk Ambassador, it's not gonna be amazing. But this could be a good card in future sets. It's just not the time and place for it, unless you just want to heal, for a decent amount.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah.
Wait, did you say it was only when your creature's destroyed?
It's any creature.
Yeah, it's in the creature. I wasn't looking at the card.
Yeah, it's any
There's
creature current card. I mean, yeah, it's not a bad card. It's just not the set for it right now. Not the time and place.
Yeah.
For it. Any other cards you want to talk about, Meta Phantom? Like they were just like good card. bad
Yeah,
card?
there's actually another spell. It's Earthen Parasites. It's 1 Earth, 1 neutral.
Oh yeah.
I was just thinking how that could counter Primordials, like the ones that gave the Primordial counter.
Yeah, let me see that one again, man. I know
It's also good
Zaza.
for like Marstalkers and Blackfish and just anything that has built up counters on it.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, it's super good. Yeah.
Yeah. You won't see a ton of counters on the Meyer Stalker, but you will see it on the Merfolk Ambassador. That's what you will see
Yeah.
it on
Yeah.
that
Oh, yeah.
thing. And so you'll shut down the Ambassador and maybe kill it, or at least take out its attack power. And he makes some bugs. I mean, bugs are cool, like, I guess. So that's a cool effect. You were talking about how good it is versus what again?
No, I just think it would be good, like, to use as a counter for any Primordial that gains Primordial counters.
Oh,
If you actually need something to create real quick.
you're right. Yeah, I forgot Primordials want counters, so you have a good point there. I think it's a pretty niche tech. It's a good. I mean, it's not saying it's impossible. Like it's probably gonna happen in some games. It's just that
Yeah.
you're not gonna be using it for that. Like typically we want to counter like the +1/+1s that get ridiculous with Merfolk Ambassador, Or even also Zaza's Pyromaniac. Okay, can't
Yep.
forget about that card. My God, like the scale.
And it targets a
Pyromaniac.
column, not a creature. So them
Yeah,
placing arcane barriers and all that stuff on it, like great, you're gonna have a 1/1 pyromaniac at the end.
basically, yeah. Just remove all the work they were doing. So yeah,
Yeah.
Earth got a good glow up versus the fire decks also with what this card's doing. And I mean, worst case scenario, worst case scenario, it's making things have -1 health, -1 attack, already decent, and it's AOE with the column, and you make a bug like not bad honestly.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'd run max copies, maybe 2 or 1. It's kind of it's very much like a tech card, so just never bad to have. It's just I don't know if I would include all copies, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe if the metagame goes towards if we keep the metagame as is with ambassadors and pyromaniacs, like this card counters both, you know. So could be decent, yeah. Definitely good to bring up for sure, man.
Yeah.
Daddy, you have any cards? A couple cards you want to talk about, like more in depth before we head out?
I have two.
Cool.
You know the one already.
Which
Godbound
one?
Tyrannus. He
Oh, that card's cracked. Yeah. So if
Yeah.
there's one card, if you are one of the lonely streamers, or shout out to the lonely watchers out there like us, but if you are out there watching the stream, if there's a hot take, well, not a hot take, but something, if there's a card you should buy ASAP before it rises in value, it's gonna be the box topper rare for the set, for sure, because everyone's gonna want the box topper rare for the set, like. And we know it's box topper rare because this card is 168 out of 167. It goes beyond the set list. So yeah, it's a haste, neutral, conditional preemptive strike, conditional aerial, and an anthem effect. Ridiculous for what this card's doing. Absolutely insane.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's gonna be a staple in basically every deck that has a few dinosaurs. I don't know if I would run the card without dinosaurs. I mean, it's not bad. It's just not amazing. Actually, nah, you could definitely run this card in just any deck because I'm thinking like, okay, 4 neutral. If I'm running Foundry, it's a haste 2/2 with preemptive strike. That's not bad. Like, I could still, yeah, it's not bad. Like, it's still, well, I mean, I don't know. I mean, what do you guys think? Should you run this card like, say, in a random deck without dinosaurs? Is it good there?
I mean, I see a lot of potential in it. Just with what I run already. You know what it is, Frosties,
Yeah.
Wraiths, and my cheese that I like running already. Um, I think that we haven't got a chance to see the new neutral ancient yet. Nobody's pulled it, but it can also be good with the new neutral ancient, depending on what that does. Um, I just think it's a really good card. I know a lot of guys like running the smaller stuff that they can build on, and with it having preemptive strike, it could just deal with that immediately. I don't have to waste a frost. Just swing this into it and just kill it potentially. Just depending on what it is and if it has less than that two.
Oh, the new neutral ancient. You guys didn't see it?
We did not see it. Is it already spoiled?
It was pulled yesterday.
Whoa. What stream was it spoiled in?
TCG Experience.
No
Where?
way.
Do you know what time it was? Like towards the end or?
I have a photo. I can send it to you guys.
Oh my god,
Yeah.
yeah, please. So we got to the album, yeah. That's
Man.
Yeah, no, I had no
Dang.
clue you guys didn't know that.
Yeah.
Like,
well, yeah, if there's any card you don't see in the album, let me know. I'll add it. Yeah.
it's called Primordial Spawner. Should I put it in the chat or send it in the Koa chat?
Send it to me in send it me over DM, I guess, or that's fine. The DM's fine, and then I'll put it in the Google Photos.
Yeah, because I was like, no, we saw it. And then I was like, what? Yeah, it's actually pretty good. It's has a lot of effects.
Get
Oh my
excited.
god.
Send it to me. Send it to me. I want to see it.
I'm sending it to you
it
right
looks
now, dude.
so good. Just the art. It's number 1 out of 167. Yeah, thank you very much. Matter of fact, I'm coming in clutch for this photo. Okay, another generator. We know it's gonna be a metagame.
Yeah.
Already good.
But this one can create any essence. That said there, I think, right? I forget. I didn't read it yet. To be honest with you.
Then no, it's not any essence. It says you may use
Oh wait,
both
I like.
essence
Yeah.
to create. Yeah, the enemy one. You may use. Okay, to create a 1/1. Wow, that's really interesting effect. So, oh man, is this? I still think Foundry is going to be better than this card if I'm going to keep it real, but this card is not bad. By any means, it's just constantly making stuff is the thing. Air will love this card, like the die roll air decks, because you can always just roll die at the start of your turn. So definitely could build an air deck with die rolls around it. But the thing is like you're making stuff, right? But you're not actually what's it called? Like you're making stuff, but you're not actually using the essence from it. And you're not drawing cards.
Yeah.
The play style of this ancient is very, very different. That's the thing. It's such a different play style. What this is doing effectively is it's creating more of a play style around aggro. Because what you want to do, so okay, the way you abuse this ancient is you play a deck full of 1-drops, like really low to the ground cards. So what you do is if you go first on turn 1, you don't make any neutral essence. You just make a token, and then you play essence for turn and play a 1-drop creature. So on turn 1, you got 2 creatures. So every turn you're pumping out 2 creatures, basically, just off rip. That's the way you really abuse this card. And then you have cards like Siege to Foundry and Bounty of Brotherhood, particularly Siege to Foundry, where by turn 3, you can have 5 creatures, and you could play a Siege to Foundry on turn 3. Because you have the Primordial Spawner giving you 2, plus if you're playing Essence on curve each time, you're good to go. So that is how you really abuse the card. You abuse it by playing a lot of really low to the ground stuff and going hardcore, but you also abuse it by using like sacrificial effects, so also not bad. Either way, I think this is a fun as hell card. I think this is a cool card, and the art was, Sebastian Batello, Seb, he did a kick-ass job as usual with this card, so I'm glad he got the chase card of the set. I mean, what do you guys think? Am I wrong in how you're abusing it, or how would you guys play with this card?
No, I definitely agree. It'll be more aggro than actually like drawing cards compared to like a Foundry. You're trying to do is more like plus. I mean, 1/1 creatures and try to attack more. But I'm just curious to see how this is going to be incorporated with. I mean, there are more neutral cards now, so you can definitely do a lot more cards just having neutral. But I don't see Primordial Spawner being like compared to like the other ancients we have. I can't see it go with other essences. Like I can't see it go with a fire. I can't see it go with like a fire deck or an air deck. To be honest with you.
Really, that's interesting.
Yeah.
I gotta think more about that because this is a very like Foundry was very straightforward in like how you build it with it. This card is not as straightforward. We have to
I
really
can see
think
it go with Earth,
Earth,
but I
yeah.
can't. The reason I can't see it go with air or fire. I don't know if I'm wrong on that. The way I been picturing those two essences for decks. I don't see this one going with it. That's why.
That's really interesting. Yeah, because Foundry does go well with every single deck, like any type. But this card
Yeah.
is more specific in what it wanted to do with it. So
Yeah.
I like it. I think it's a cool design. It's just you gotta think more on like the value of it.
Yeah.
Foundry is still better than this card, unfortunately, just because the draw and life power like Foundry gives is still insane. But I think this card's really cool, and there's probably gonna be at least one metagame deck that will run this card. You know.
All right, my turn. Believe y'all's takes are a little hot. Me personally, um, dude, I got so many things going on that in my head that it's so. I mean, how many games have you actually lost having more creatures than your opponent? Um, very few. At least in my games. So this is constantly you're going to be able to pump out a creature every turn. Um, I believe the more creatures you have, the better chance that you have of winning. Um, and I think this does it. Of course, you don't have the draw power from Boundary or boosting your life back up to 5. Yeah, somewhat of a drawback. But I mean, you might not have to you know get down to that point with this thing. Um, you're just constant, and then pumping this thing out to help block stuff, um, keep stuff safe potentially. Uh, roll a 5 or 6, get life drain, 2/2 life drain. Hey, yeah, they gotta if they want to get by what's behind it, they don't have reach. They got to smack into that life drain potentially, or a 2/1 with haste. Man, that's a cat. That's a free cat with just running my ancient. Minus the discard effect. That's just my opinion, personally. I believe it's really good. I think if everybody sleeps on it, I'll run it. I think it's great.
Having a 2-1, yeah. If it only made a 2-1 with haste, I would think a lot differently on the card. I'll be honest with you. But because the 2-1 with haste is crazy good, but because like I'm not a big fan of the reach one, personally, I think that's the worst effect. The life drain is not bad though. Having a 2/2 with life drain is actually decent, but the
I'm,
two
I'm, gonna-
one
I'm
with
gonna look at it
haste,
like I look at the Patreon promo. Like, dang, I rolled a 1 or a 2, and I get the 2/1/1 creatures. Shoot.
yeah.
But upside, get a free cat, Frosty, get a 2/2 with life drain. I think it's good, man. I think it's gonna win me some games for sure.
I mean, it is versatile. I see your point there. If you need it for something, want 1 point, or need it for another, you might end up with a token that actually has it.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I
Yeah.
think the pumping out the constant bodies is gonna be a problem. I
Yeah.
like it. It's
Mm,
just, like it's just it could be my hot take, but like I'm hyped on it.
yeah.
Artwork's
Like
sick. I think the ability is sick. I'm ready to
yeah.
run it, dude.
Yeah. I think my tone. I'm not saying it's a bad card. Like it is a good card. Um, where I'm coming from is I'm just thinking in a greater metagame when we compare to Foundry and compare to the decks we have, and like I'm trying to figure out what's the role of this card. Like what deck do I really want to put this thing in? And it's not 100% clear. Um, now, like you said, this is a proactive card. It's always good on its own. It's always making tokens. It's always making decent bodies. The tokens will never have like they'll never be like crap. They're never gonna be a 1/1. It's gonna be um it's never gonna be like just a vanilla 1/1. It's always gonna have something, right? So that's not bad. It's
It's
just
definitely pumping up value every turn.
It is. It's just we have to remember that that is not free though. Like it's exerting the neutral I would have used for other cards, and that's kind of my thing. Like we have to. I mean, it's not imbalanced. It's just the choices there, right, to do it is intriguing. But my attitude in this card right now is intrigued. I'm very intrigued. It's honestly the most interesting card in the set from what I've seen. To be really honest with you, like this is a
Agreed.
very intriguing card, and I'm not gonna put it in a pedestal. I'm am I hyped for the card? Honestly, like I don't know if hype's the word I would use, but I'm very intrigued, and I don't get intrigued often by cards. I'll say that. Like usually I'm like, hell yeah, this is good, or oh, this is bad, don't play it. This card I'm like, I'm gonna play it, but how do I play it? Like that's how my attitude, you know. Wow. Thank you for the thoughts, Daddy and Phantom Man. Thank you for Phantoms for giving us the photo. I put it in a the Google Drive, which is public already. I put it in the Discord for the game. What's it called? Okay, well, I think I'll bring up one card I like. I talked about the other cards, but I want to bring up one card I think that I personally like a lot for design. And then I think I'll stop the stream at this point. I don't think anyone's talked about this card really, but I actually like the design a lot for it. Primordial Ooze. I like this card a lot. So it's 2 neutral, it's a spell, and you target in a column, and all creatures in that column lose a tribe, but they gain 1/1 and a different tribe of your choice. So the value of this card is using it with other cards like Infernal Dragons to just give anthem effects or +1/+1 bonuses. So you could basically run any creatures you want. I mean, already if you have 2 creatures in line, it's already literally just giving a buff like to your creatures for 2 neutral, giving +1/+1 as a card. That's insanely good if you think about the curve in the game right now. Because 2 neutral is effectively 1, so you're saying, oh, hey, pay 1 essence to give 2/2 of stats. Pretty good. Now, obviously, the way you want to make sure your opponent doesn't get amazing value from it, so you want to put your creatures in columns where there aren't enemy creatures. But yeah, it's still a good card. Either way, the value of it is in choosing new tribes. I think it's a really good factor of the card. It's a permanent thing. Like they keep the tribe you choose for good. So it works with bug decks, dragon decks. Obviously, elves works with elves pretty well. And yeah, I mean, you could play your really good like earth creatures, like that are not elves, and just make them elves. So that is good value. But yeah, I mean, what do you guys think of the ooze? You think it's gonna be metagame? Am I wrong about the card, or?
Now I could definitely see either sabotage or benefit for yourself too, as well in the game with this.
The which benefits? Sorry.
To change the tribe, like for example, how you're talking about the Inferno Dragon, or even just other tribes in general. Especially, let's say, you can even change a creature that if you want to do dual, like Merfolk, or change it to a sea creature as well, if you
That's
want.
true. That's true. You could, and actually, that's actually a very strong point because you could use it to change the tribe to a Merfolk, and then use Deep Terrors, right, to just one shot it. So that's pretty. Yeah, that's actually a good point. Wow, a lot of utility. Yeah. Daddy, what do you think? Have any thoughts on this card?
Man, I nailed it. I mean, it is a good card. It's a lot of there's different things you can do with it. A lot of techie stuff you can do with it. I like it, dude.
Yeah, man. You could even do
'Cause it's
some. Oh, I was gonna say. With your hype around the Primordial Ancient, the new neutral ancient, like it has a good synergy with that one too, because you can make your tokens with 2 new tribes, and for one turn you can be like, yeah, I'm taking a break with making tokens. I'm just gonna buff my tokens up, make them a new tribe, and then play my Elvis tracker on that same turn. Yeah, like then I'll just do that. So it's pretty good. But yeah, and yeah, just more tribe support is always gonna be a good deal. Okay, guys, it's gonna wrap up the stream. Uh, I've said enough, honestly. You have any closing thoughts, Phantoms, Fatty?
No, just I'm still curious to see the rest of the cards in the set and what other contraptions you can make. That neutral agent, I already have like two ideas I'm thinking of, and I actually do want to try them and see if it works actually.
Absolutely, yeah. Daddy?
Man, I'm just excited for all of it, dude. I'm glad I'm in the game, and can't wait to start building. And I appreciate you for having me.
Hell yeah, man. Yeah, anyone from you guys are always welcome for any stream, just to chat, hang out. And yeah, definitely got a lot more ideas for deck building from you guys, and hopefully the vice versa. Just discussing this. But yeah, the stream will be online publicly at some point. I may edit it a bit, a little bit. But yeah, thanks for watching. If you were hanging out with us, we're gonna have more gameplay streams like this. Might do a couple more before the database comes out, because right now these cards are not on a database. But yeah, we'll see you guys next time. Peace out.